Okay, I'll try to keep this short as I can, as much as I can about certain subjects I tend to ramble on about. And yes, I'm not wearing a mask, it's just me in here. It can happen. I'm doing my laundry, in case you're wondering why am I doing this out in the car. I'm doing my laundry right over there. Um, I wanted to talk about conventions, particularly Anime Expo. If anyone's wondering, for those who are in the know, Anime Expo was canceled this year, along with a lot of other stuff. Until the following year, which hopefully in a few months we will have an election and a vaccine against COVID. Fingers crossed here, people. And so, if anyone's wondering what Anime Expo is like, Anime Expo is like, to me, it's like a rocky or bad relationship you have with that hot chick, you know? It's like, you want to be with that person, but that person is just so gosh darn unreliable and unpredictable, too. Which is not appealing in any way, for sense. When it's like, surprise, it's more of, here's some more inconveniences for you and disappointments. And it's like, you've been at this how long? It's like, why can't you just get your shit together, you know? As fascinating as you are, as interesting as you are, at times very, very pretty, it's like, come on, it's like, let's have some fun here. Because when I first got into Anime Expo, still learning stuff about anime, how the anime industry works, back in 2001, yes. And having it, year to year to year to year, and going to other conventions, is that you gotta set this up for as maximum convenience as possible. Because when you have to have, like, I gotta walk all the way around, to enter, because you can't have the entrances and exits at the same place. You gotta have this, that, you gotta go around everything. It's like, okay, I get that's a design flaw, whatever, okay. But then it's like the years go by and you have, like, basically the biggest disappointments and things I have is like where the line is. So you go to where the room's at, right? The panel, whatever you want to go to, is at the room. You get to the room and say, oh, the line's not here. The line's outside. Not really clearly marked. You got to guess which one. Hopefully you're in the right one. But then they have the sign holders that say this. Then they have the signs that say this. And then now they finally have, well, the signs with the awnings so they can finally, not be stuck out in the sun. It's hot in July, and you're there in full garb. I've seen people in stuff. That's why I never hardly see the cosplayers outside for very long, because it's too damn hot. So all the cosplayers are inside where it's nice and air conditioned. So and then when you get into things, they only have so much space. And then, like, for the shows, like for the movies and anything they're going to project, lately, it's for the past couple of years, it's more of, whatever isn't, canceled is rescheduled. So, like, half the time, if anything I wanted to go see, it's not showing. Oh, it's tomorrow, or it's not there. And it's just, what the hell? Oh, it's most often, 90% of the time, it's subtitled. Because that's the bigger fandom, is subs rather than the dubs. Quite frankly, I'm not. When I got into this, I was like, what? 19? Or something like that. I mean, I was like right out of high school. So, having to read constantly while trying to watch something is very difficult at 38. As opposed to juxtaposition to 19. So this was so subs to me is a young man's game. Going to conventions where you can't stop the tape and rewind, saying, oh wait, I missed that line because I'm busy trying to watch what's going on. So, but yeah, as like I said before in numerous videos, as disappointing and chronically disappointing as particularly Anime Expo tends to get, I still come back every year because it might not suck the next year. It might not suck. But the one thing that I find the most compelling and the most satisfying beyond all else is the fandom. People come in with the full garb, head to toe, look like they just walked right out of the movie or the TV show, or sometimes just a bare bones, straight up, it's a colored box. I've seen people come in as Tetris blocks, which is very creative. I have pictures of people with the boxes from Super Mario on their heads. I've seen, people put very little effort into their costumes, but it makes a good effect. You honestly know this is a person in costume. And people who go to extremely lengths to get that, not just the look, but the feel right, like the texture. I've seen how many cat noirs and ladybugs back when oh God, what possessed me to do that? But when I volunteered, the one thing that kept me going was seeing the people in the cosplay, the people dressed as giant anime girls. I'm pretty sure they were guys, but the thing is, you could feel the heart is what it was. Then I saw when I was stuck in line doing those four uh, uh, sets, the four sets, the forest, the tea house with the little tea table, and the bedroom, and the Love Connection stage. For those of you who are old enough to know who that is, what that is. Yeah, I was like monitoring like four of those at a time, and seeing the miraculous character show up is actually pretty nice. It feels good to see that level of commitment. Like, this took time to do. And one of the more recent ones was seeing a guy play the electric violin out on the corner. He was playing the intro to Kingdom Hearts. So whenever the convention fails me, the fandom picks it up. It's the audience you're watching the movie with. I love the social commentary given like it's commentary given by the Mystery Science Fiction 3000 people. When they watch different movies and scream along with the attacks from Gurren Lagann. As annoying as it is when you're sitting, when the guy's sitting right behind you doing that, but it is still very nice to have people still scream those out along with the characters. It's rather nice. And again, I will give my little recommendational thing with the last 2 minutes I have here, of how to attend a convention. I've done this for 20 years, and I will tell you, it is a slog. It's a marathon. You gotta... Either you have a lot of money and friends, or you don't have money, or you don't have a lot of friends, or any friends at all to go to this thing. Trust me, having one or the other, or both, will make your convention experience a lot more fun. Because having money makes shit a hell of a lot easier to deal with. Especially with the inconveniences of going to a convention. Having friends means you're not alone in this. You get to have the shared experience where you get to sit back, shoot the breeze, whatever you guys do to chill, and laugh about it. Didn't that just suck balls? And they're like, yeah, it did! Ha 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 ha, etc., etc., so forth. That's the thing. I've been going to this alone. Well, the first 3 years I was with Barry, but the rest of that time I was primarily alone. So that's why it sucked a lot of the time, because I had to deal with this shit. And you have to ask questions, a lot of questions, because updated info, as much as they say they can update it, it can never get to you fast enough or accurate enough to be useful. There's always some last minute BS going on. It's a fact, just deal with it. So whenever you're trying to see something, it's always in question. Always. I don't know what else more to tell. And the science part is the ballrooms, is the fact that, you know, whatever they set the air conditioning to. When you're out on the floor or in the hallways, wear kind of light clothing, middle grade clothing. It's kind of nice. It's still cool enough to be okay. You know, outside when it's summer, you dress like it's summer because it's hot, like me in this car. I'm starting to sweat. But when you're in the ballrooms, you know, you got to dress more wintry or fall-like because it's a confined space. There's very little movement and everyone is sitting. So even though there's a lot of people in there, it's a resting heart rate. So the amount of energy given off by you is very little. So the AC dominates. So therefore, dress a bit more. You know, put a blanket or something on, or a sweater. You know, depending on your dress, if you have cosplay or not. But when you're out in the exhibit hall, where it is a confined space where everyone's constantly moving around and giving off a lot of heat and it's really congested, then yeah, you're going to want to dress a little bit more lightly because it's going to feel very stuffy and claustrophobic. So you're going to want to get rid of any unnecessary clothing. It will help a little bit mentally. It just trust me on that. They try to keep it as air conditioned as possible, but you feel the stuffiness a little bit. If not, the heat is, you know, if the heat's, you can feel the heat too. It's a little warm, a little bit much. But yeah, it's science. And just try to, you know, if money is an issue, just try to, like I said, get condiments. People offer packets at restaurants and spoons and shit, and get Ziploc bags full of ice. Make makeshift coolers like this. I fill this thing with ice and I put my smart water in there and boom, instant cooler. You know, fill the sink full of ice or bags of, or Ziploc bags full of ice if you want to keep your drinks cool while you're in the room. You know, free condiments, and then go and buy like your Subway sandwich or a hot dog from 7-Eleven. You know, some cheap meal that's filling. You know, or your Campbell's, you know, canned soup. You know, those little ones, like this big. You know, or Spam. I bought a couple cans of Spam last year. That was imaginative, though I wish I was a better chef to know how to make Spam taste better, because eating Spam out of the can was not exactly very tasty, but it is filling, and you get kind of sick of it. So having the proper spices to add to it probably would have been better. Of course, breaking out a mini camp stove and camping right there probably would have been nice too, but whatever. But that's the thing, is that you gotta think like you're camping, sort of. Like, you gotta do everything minimalistic. If you don't have the money to pull this shit off, be creative. Look at camping videos and say, what can I apply to this that will make my time, you know, efficient and easy, you know? Portable, you know, like water jugs and full of Gatorade and snacks, you know, like trail mix. I saw some people have was it from India, those tortilla things? I don't know what they're called, but they had like hummus. This little thing of hummus that they were going like this. And they shared one with me. I never had hummus before. I was kind of curious what hummus was, because I heard Jeannie from Aladdin mention it. They say, wake up and smell the hummus. It's like, what is hummus? So that's hummus. It's like, if anything, it's like mustard, if anything. It's like Dijon, like that darker color, mustardy color to it. Yeah, so it's like Dijon mustard, if anything. It's the closest thing I can think of, and that was like 10 years ago, so. Anyway. There was a, that's about it. And everyone knows about, you know, photo etiquette. You know, ask before you start flashing the camera at them. Be sincere. You know, don't be a perv. You know, standard stuff like that. But yeah, just go in there and try to have a good time. Explain stuff, you know, concepts to your friends who don't know. And let them know there's some freaky shit. There's going to be that one shop in the corner where it's like Yeah, you don't want to go over there. That's the that's the kinky booth. And don't think they always had the curtain. I was I was back in the day in the early 2000s. I was back in the day before they enforced those things. For the back with the yeah, I was there, not there, but I was there um for Manfay and all that. So yeah, I was there back when they had booths with the tentacle. Not at the moment, but maybe later. I'll be back. Someone asking me for food. There's a yeah, they had like they weren't shy about advertising that they were selling porn at their booth. You know, they had the big poster up front or on the back of their booth saying, "Oh yeah, we got porn. Like, here's this nurse with her skirt up showing her panties. Here is this girl wrapped in tentacles." Yes, they had that. It was still, covered and censored a bit. Like it does on a cover of a DVD or a box. But yeah, they blatantly advertised like it should might have a giant neon sign that says we sell porn here. It was that blatantly obvious. So now it's behind a curtain, especially now when they have the VR props. The inflatable VR props. That's the one thing. It's like, oh yeah, I see why you have the curtain now. A guy holding a inflatable torso while he has the VR goggles, and he's holding this thing up he's like, huh. That was at the yeah, that was at God, was that at AX or I think that was at AX. I believe it was at AX. And that was just a hoot to see. But it's to show the advance of VR. What else was there? It's not that they don't have the sections for hentai. There still are. It's just more of this little side booth on the side of the booth. Where they have all these boxes of slightly overpriced hentai. So yeah, they still do exist, but now it's all family friendly. So you can't crossplay so blatantly, but you can still crossplay as long as it's tasteful. It's like tasteful. You got people selling porn in there and not being shy about it. And we got toddlers. There have always been toddlers at these conventions. So don't think, well, there were children, or what was the age rounds? I've always seen toddlers. I have always seen grandparents and children and everyone else. So I've seen every age attend this convention every year, and dozens and dozens of them. So don't think, well, there was more, grown-ups there during these years or during that decade or time. It's like, no, there have always been various different things. And dogs. There have always been, someone's bringing a dog or so to this thing. Especially when the Cowboy Bebop was big. It brought the Ein to a con as their dog because it was a corgi. So, yeah. There was always that freeing time, and then someone says something, then something gets corrected, but nothing ever really goes away. And there have been times when they've gotten their the stuff together and made a good con that's very pleasant and likable. And then there have been stretches of times where it's just like, why am I here? This is just chronic disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. You never know. It might be a good year. Anyway, that's all about the time I have for this vid. I gotta go change out from the washer to the dryer and deposit my cash, my tips from work. So I gotta go take care of that while I do this. Finish off my coffee, my water, my donuts. I don't know, bring this guy back a thing or something. figure this out. All right. Take care, and as always, see you at the movies.